For millions of years, for eons, photographers have been asking the same question. Or maybe at least for the past decade, they've been asking the same question. I have no idea, but probably about the past 10 years. Does gear matter?
Absolutely it matters. There is no fucking way this is still a conversation. I don't understand why we have to keep coming back to this. I read your comments. Hey there, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is Talking to Myself, the part of the day where I talk to myself about things that I was thinking the night before while laying in bed. Shout out, of course, to all 3,000 and some odd of you who are subscribed to me at the time of making this video, as well as shout out to Karhu, who is the unofficial official street photography footwear of Street Photographers Association of Street across the world. Hope I did that right. I just like their gear. I'm not sponsored or anything like that, but Karhu, if you ever want to send me anything, I'm more than willing to make another plug. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about something that's been on my mind recently, actually for a long time, and I've addressed it before. Photography gear doesn't matter if this, or photography gear does matter if that, but I just kind of want to put it to rest and put it to bed once and for all. First off, gear matters, 100%. If I was to say you could take, you could photograph your favorite sporting event or photograph your favorite band, let's say, whatever is going on, there's a festival, but you had to be about 10 rows back. And I could say, yeah, you can do the whole thing either using a Fujifilm X100V or a Nikon Z9 and a Canon R3 plus about 6 lenses of your choosing. What are you gonna choose? I mean, seriously, what are you gonna choose? You as a seasoned photographer. Unless you're a hipster, you're gonna go with the R3 and the Z9. I mean, it just makes sense. You have a bigger arsenal and you actually can get the tools to do the full job. We overlook that part a lot. Gear absolutely matters. The gear matters for the job and the work that you're doing. Now, if you're just shooting for hobby, if you're just shooting for fun, gear matters a lot less. And that's what I want to talk about today, is because we assign a certain type of weight to everything that we do. And a lot of times we don't understand that when we give the full weight of if your photography is going to be successful, or a majority of the weight, to something like gear, even though it does matter, it completely covers up the fact that there is a bigger monster to deal with besides the whole gear conundrum. In fact, the thing that matters the most when it comes to photography is first and foremost always going to be the photographer. Period, end of story. You are what matters. Let's take the same scenario with someone who's never shot a camera before, and you tell them, hey, you can take these two cameras, the R3 and the Z9, you've never used them, with all these buttons and shit, and whatever lenses you want, these big lenses, or this tiny little Fujifilm X100V, what do you think they're more likely to use? Oh, I get to go to my favorite sporting event or concert. I just want to take photos of me and my friends. I want to take a selfie. Let me grab this little tiny camera that I can work out of the box. We see this in everything that we do. If I go out into a garage and pretend like I'm a mechanic, I'm gonna screw up someone's car. If a mechanic goes in, touches someone's car, they probably know what they're doing. There's a higher likelihood of success. Now, in the same vein with that mechanic, if I go up to him and say, hey, here's a toy wrench set for you to be able to fix these cars, the guy's not gonna have a good time. And that's exactly the way we have to look at gear. The gear is valuable and it does matter to an extent, but it will never matter more than the knowledge and the skill of the actual photographer. When you start looking deeper into these things and start talking about it, you have to think of photography of basically a well-oiled machine. There's different parts that do different things. If I was to tell you that photography is like a car, and I was to say, hey, photography is like a car and the engine is the gear, you may say at that point, no, you just said that the photographer matters more. Wouldn't the photographer be the engine? But I was to also tell you that the wheels are off of the vehicle and we haven't found the key in decades and no one makes the key anymore. What does that engine matter at all for that car? And that's exactly the way we have to look at photography. When you're taking photos, it's a combination of multiple things. First and foremost, it's a combination of the photographer. If you don't get out there to take exposures, if you don't get out there to make a composition, nothing is going to be recorded during that day. Second, it comes down to the actual gear. Now, if you are out there and you are taking photos and you forget your camera on a photo walk, guess who does not get to take photos on a photo walk? You. So yes, gear does matter. And the third thing is the things we can't control. How is lighting? How is weather? How is a client or people's attitude? How was the coffee that day? Things that you cannot control are always going to be a part of that. If we live by the rule primarily that gear matters all the time and it's the only thing that matters, then that's all that it would need. You would just need to show up with the most expensive camera of the year, with the most expensive camera of the month, and things would work great. When you start peeling back the layers of these cliches that we've come to know and unfortunately love whenever it comes to photography, ones that were usually made by douchebags in photography, at that point you start to see photography for what it really is. It's just fun. It's an opportunity to take great images. It's an opportunity to make memories. It was never meant to be something that is taken so seriously, it takes a life out of it. I think of a story that my boy Dorian Coleman told me a while back about Henri Cartier-Bresson, someone who I personally don't like. I am a hashtag Henri Cartier-Bresson hater. And he told me about one time Henri Cartier-Bresson walked up to William Eggleston. For those of y'all who don't know William Eggleston, Google William Eggleston, who idolized Henri Cartier-Bresson throughout his life. Throughout his photography journey, this is the guy that he wanted to be like. Well, Henri walked up to him and told him that his work was bullshit because color was bullshit. What kind of gatekeeping ass weirdo do you have to be to walk up and to tell someone that at an exhibit in his honor? How lame is that? And these are the people that we follow along with the rules. Now, again, I don't even know if Henri's alive or dead or not. Don't even care. I understand you don't want to disrespect the dead, but the guy was an asshole. So if we're just calling a spade, total asshole. But that's the thing, we put so much weight into cliches and clout that this is what happens. You guys, we're at a point right now to where we don't judge how good someone's work is by their actual work, but by how many subscribers they have on YouTube, how many followers they have on Instagram and Twitter. If someone has a great following, it must mean they're great. If they know your favorite photographer, it must mean they've made it. If it looks like they've taken a photo and it's been shared or sponsored by a Fujifilm fan page, guess what? They must be a decent photographer. That is the wildest, that is the weirdest, that is the craziest thing that I've ever seen. But it's actually what happens. We're no longer at the point to where we go along and we start recognizing art for what it is. We just start recognizing art for what it can get us. I see more and more accounts every single day that will have more photos of a camera on the account than of photos taken with that actual camera. Now, I know this isn't the cool thing to say, and I know that right now what I need to be doing is showing you a damn photo of 9 or 6 different cameras and telling you which one's better and telling you why gear doesn't matter and telling that you can achieve your dreams with whatever camera you want to use because guess what? Darn it, you can, because that's the photographer spirit. But it's not true. If I give you a film camera and forget to give you film, does gear matter at that point? If I give you a brand new, I don't know, Sony A9 II, and I give you a pinhole lens and I tell you to go take some sports photos, does gear not matter then? If you want to go take a portrait shot and I just give you a body and no lens, does gear not matter at that point? We have all these conversations when at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is taking a damn photo. A buddy of mine, I wouldn't call him a good friend, but an acquaintance of mine, someone who lives up in the New York City area, was talking to me a couple days ago and talking to me about, not really worrying about what brands do for you. If brands have your back, not worrying about being seen by people and going out there and create. It's something that I've known for a while. It's something that I've always subscribed to and something that I always push onto other people. But I wasn't really feeling it. I got wrapped up in worrying about, I need to make this gear video and I've got this sponsorship, I need to make this video and I need to take photos for this and that, and I've got this job coming up and I've got this assignment coming up, and it kind of takes the wind out of you. But when you stop and you start to think, it's just photography, man, and I'm trying to tell a story, and I stop looking at the gear thinking, I don't have this and I need this and I need that, things begin to simmer down. You begin to start getting relaxed. You begin to start feeling more in a groove, and you begin to start remembering, at the end of the day, I'm really damn good at what I do, and I'm always gonna get better, and I'm always gonna try to get better. So the only end result is me being successful. So yes, gear matters, but it doesn't matter the most. And I hope you guys start to understand that, because I know that a lot of you believe it and a lot of you know it, but it's time for a lot of us to live it. With that being said, take it light, but take it. Have a good one. And I'll buy a DSLR and stun on all y'all bitches. I'm not even joking around. I will go out right now. Just kidding. Oh no. Would you get mad at that? Oh, it's gonna make for a great blooper reel. Yeah!